I know, it smells like butter in here. It smells like butter in here, Mink. What you doing? You sit. Oh, hi, baby. Hi, my little brine monster. Alright, who's ready for Hilda? I don't think she's ready for us. You stay? Good girl. Good girl. Stay. Stay. No? You. Girl. Yeah, it's a good girl. Yeah. Can you say hi? Hi, stream. Chicken and cheese? Do you like chicken and cheese? She's ignoring me. She doesn't like being on her back. Look at that pretty girl. Okay. Alright, guys. There's nothing for you here. There's nothing for you. Maybe we'll get them a bone. We get a little bone. Okay. Guys, if you have dogs and you give them these treats, they have a lot of calcium in them. I looked up online what their calcium content is because they don't have it on here, and it's like really high. So just be really careful, especially because they put dog sizes into like brackets, and these are like the tiny ones under 25 pounds. So they almost give like, you know, more calcium than they really need. So anyway, now that we're at a dog corner, Mike and Mark, maybe we want to put a little bay leaf in there. We've already got some, this has some garlic powder in it. I'll put a little bay leaf in there. And I'm just going to shove this in the microwave with some garlic powder. You can put fresh ingredients in there too. I'm just kind of winging it, so. We're going to put this in the microwave just to make sure we get all the things dissolved into the water the best we can. So we'll give it about a minute or so in there just to get everything kind of broken down and dissolved. Probably doesn't need to be in for a full minute, but I just want it a little bit warmer. You don't want it so hot that you start cooking your chicken at all. You just want it to be dissolved. Oh my god, is this the Food Wishes music? Nothing but the blues. That sounds like some Food Network music. I should have left it. Alright, we're not quite warm with the touch. And brines usually say like 4 hours or more to really get the effect. The longer you brine something, like the saltier it ends up getting. So just be careful with that. Be mindful of that. If you decide to brine something, that you are putting salt into your food with this. This is seasoning like everything. And it's going to make your chicken this really cool orange color. From annatto. Annatto? Yeah. This is not artificial dye. This is the real deal. But you really want your brine to be fully dissolved so that you actually are at the weights and measures that you're proposing. I know, this looks like some kind of weird fruit punch. Hilda, get! Great, let's go. Great, now. getting pretty well dissolved here. Almost there. And it is just warm to the touch on the outside. And then to cool this down a little bit, I mean, this is basically room temperature. We're going to add some pickle juice. This ought to make the color really fun too. I'm not measuring. I'm just putting it in until I get past the first couple of pickles. That should be really good for chicken. We can let that sit in the fridge for just a few minutes before we put our chicken thighs in there. And speaking of, let me get those. And a beverage. Where is she? Hi, you're cute. The light's off in the living room and Hilda was sitting on the couch. I couldn't even see her. She's brown on a gray couch. I don't know how I couldn't see her, but anyway. Here we go. About 3.5 pounds. We're really going to only use half of it, and we're going to take the best halves that we can. We're just going to be looking for any cartilage and cutting off any excess fat because nobody really wants to eat fried chicken fat, like breaded chicken fat or battered chicken fat. And there's the magic word, and here's Hilda. So you're really trying to just make this into like a pretty uniform and like blood-free, relatively blood-free experience. So we're going to take this thigh and any extra pieces we're just gonna take and use it as a trim. We can do all kinds of stuff with it. We just want it to be, like I said, like a uniform thickness. Shape doesn't matter as much. It's gonna look really cool on the bun, and it's gonna shrink up when you cook it just a little bit because everything contracts, even when it's tenderized. I'm pretty happy with that. I am just gonna cut this stuff off. This is just excess fat that they usually just remove it by pulling it. I'll just put this fat over here instead of in my scrap meat pile. Scrap meat. Hilda! This is why I like her in the crate better. She's just investigating everything. She's trying to sniff the trash and all that stuff. And again, these are going to be made tomorrow. So we're going to start by brining them, and then we'll make a batter. And in that batter, we'll be using some of that buttermilk powder. Why didn't I do these in buttermilk powder? Well, if I was going to do buttermilk fried chicken, I would have gotten regular buttermilk, because buttermilk powder doesn't actually contain the, this doesn't look great for a chicken one. It doesn't actually contain like the lactic acid anymore that you get from, like store-bought buttermilk. So you have to add an acid to it, or you can just use like a pickle brine and get like some of those other classic flavors. You can even use like jalapeno brine, like you can use all kinds of stuff. But this is only like a partial pickle. This isn't like a full pickle. This is just like the tip of a pickle. The tip of the pickleberg. Is anybody listening to this nonsense? I hope so. So we'll just cut this little guy off on the end, put it aside, and then even this out. If you can't even it out, cut it off, because it'll probably fall off when you're trying to bread it. And this is, if we keep it in that shape, it should be good. It's hard to tell some of these chicken thighs when you get boneless, skinless. Some people like to, if they're going to do thighs, a lot of people like to do breast, of course, for fried chicken sandwiches and stuff. A lot of people don't like to, a lot of people who are chefs, I'm trying to say, not like myself, get like the bone in with the skin on, because they can do it very easily themselves and get all the shape they want. Cut that little guy off. And then some of the stuff can't be helped. I just like the meatiness of chicken thigh in a fried chicken sandwich. Especially with a lot of flavors. Like, we're adding a lot of flavors to this. And we're going to make it really crispy with that rice flour. This is a nice one. I barely had to cut it to get it to the shape I wanted. Or at least the flatness that I wanted. Try not to cut towards your fingers, you know? Just try to get some of this excess caul fat off. It's not really caul fat. Caul fat's around the kidneys, I guess, but I almost got half the container here. Doesn't mean we have half the weight, but let's see how else these guys did. This one's pretty good. There's a little bit of bone here, so that's another scrap we don't want to run into when we're eating our chicken. Any cartilage in the chicken you want to get rid of too. It will not soften in cooking. We do want to cook this past the 165 that we typically do. We're going to go to like 185 because that's when things start to like break down a little bit more and really gets you that like tender chicken that you're looking for from the chicken sandwich. You do 192. Hey man, good for you. Is that when you do smoke or what, Guyver? Or are you talking about fried chicken? Just making sure I have all the tough bits off. Any of the soft bits that might come off, like that, will probably come off. So we've got a good pile of chicken to go in the brine there. How many buns do I have? Maybe I'll do that many chicken sandwiches. Oop, I feel another piece of bone right here. Sometimes when you're cutting out cartilage, it's easy to leave it in. There's one piece right here. I did not do this. This was the store-bought, so this was whoever processed this chicken before I purchased it. There we go. Good thing to check, especially if you worked in a restaurant. Some of these tendons, maybe a little bit. Take a little bit of that out if you can see them. These are just what run along those bones to articulate. That one's good. That's why some of these are a little messed up. I think they just cut off the excess. That feels good. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think I have, let me check my bun sitch. I think I have 6. 8? I have 8. Alright. So let's do one more and make it 6, so I'll have 2 buns for whatever I want. Can make some chicken nuggets or something. Hilda, no. Hilda, crate. Hilda, you're done. Hilda, crate right now. No, no bed, crate. No, you had a bed. Now you have a crate. Come on. Come on. Crate now. Hilda, crate now. Come on. Sometimes I can tell that I trained her and not be. Oh gosh. She came into the kitchen and started scooting her butt on the rug, which is gross. Fortunately, there's no visible signs of her being a beast. She probably needs to go out soon too, but she'll hate that it's raining out, and she'll hate that. Bee's nice and happy in his dog bed, and he'll decided that dog bed wasn't cool enough for her. She wants to be in here, scooting her butt on the ground like an absolute clown. So there we go. We can almost do like a chicken sausage with all that fat and stuff. Alright, but we're not going to do that. We're going to finish... Did I just get something in my hair? I just got something in my hair. Oh, goodness. The pains of being beautiful, I tell you. Let's get a Ziploc bag for our chicken. Actually, a hefty bag. Probably too big for what it is. But we'll reuse the... probably put some marinade or something in here. Can use this for all kinds of stuff. Stir fry, fried rice. And I'm actually going to put the scraps in there too before I push all the air out of it. These aren't bad scraps, these are good scraps. We will leave all the fat out. I don't need the fat. I'm happy without it. And then our brine here. And just put these guys right in that brine. This really does look like psychedelic. If we need to pour some of it off, which I think we do, we're just going to take it over to the sink here. Try not to stain our hands that color. Oof, as I spill it on the floor. And myself. I don't know how I missed my shoes, but I missed my shoes. Did I get it in my soda? Yes, I did. We don't want that. We don't want chicken brine in our Diet Coke. That's just a bad look. Alright, I'm gonna get another paper towel. You guys enjoy the music. It looks so great running down these white cabinets. Oh man. Alright, where's my spray? Guyver, another reason to not wear pants while cooking. I'm just kidding. Oh man. Oh, right on the handles. It's got like this not quite rust color. I swear they're gonna be great. This is the IRL part of it, right? Ooh la la. Okay, we almost got it together. Almost. This is more for the staining part than anything else. Alright, so I'm going to put this back in the fridge. Covered. But first I do want to take some more out of here. Because if I were a little bit more diligent, I wouldn't have spilled it just then, so. It's already 9 o'clock, almost. Wow. I guess I did start late, so. I mean, I have to mop anyway, but I don't want to stain this floor. It's not mine. Try not to ruin an apartment before you move out, you know? Quality. Oh. Okay, and I know I put my cling film back here. Nice and toit. Not too toit. Just get a nice seal, push some of that air out. Make sure that chicken is submerged. And say goodbye, chicken. Goodbye, chicken. Okay. Back to pickles. Let's get these pickles. Now these have cooked a little bit, so they've gone a little bit soft. But you got this beautiful uniform pink with some translucence. And these are cool. They're room temperature at least. Nice little crunch to them still. think they need just a little bit more sugar. Maybe this is like a 4 tablespoons of honey kind of deal. Because that went in. And these will add some nice acid cut to any of your fatty foods. And you can put these right into like a jar. And you can't keep them like you would a canned pickle, but you can have them for like a good week or two. I wouldn't really want to push a month, but I think I've been known to. Just making sure I have my lid for this. This is a wide mouth one. This is not the wide mouth one. So what I'm gonna do real quick, just to like save ourselves the problem of it again, is just make a little funnel. Probably could have just measured across, but and this is mostly to get the liquid out. I don't even know. I'm like kind of embarrassed to do this on camera because I'm like feel like I'm going to screw it up, but here goes something. They might need some help getting down. Get a nice color. I'm very happy with how colorful they are. And they have that like red wine vinegar tint. Like the color tint. I could have cut a bigger hole in this thing. At this rate, I don't need the hole as much as I just need the guidance, you know, so they don't get all over the table and splash everywhere. So I need to get some more gloves for cleaning, especially here. Usually I get just a little bit more red pepper out of these, but I don't think that sachet, I don't know. They've been sitting for a little bit now, so they definitely have a full flavor of whatever I put in there. And you do get a little bite, but it kind of goes away quick. That's what he said. Hey-o. And the important part is just making sure that you keep these submerged in the brine, because they do tend to float, but you might have to like shake them and stir them around and stuff. So that's these guys. I'm going to put this cover on here when it cools down, so we're going to put them in without the cover on into the fridge. I'm going to get back to some cookies. Now let me just preheat the oven here. No, maybe I don't want to preheat the oven yet, because these have to go in the fridge too. But I do want to get put these pickles in the fridge now that I've opened them. I put them in the fridge before. That's why I couldn't find them. Ooh, let's get some eggs out while we're here. I think I need 1 egg plus 1 egg yolk. I think that's the recipe. Yeah, 1 large egg and 1 large egg yolk, which I have right here. These are some big eggs. Jeez. And I put these in the fridge just to make sure. It is a little bit warm in here. I didn't want them to like melt. Why did my chat disappear? Oh, it's a clip. Thank you for the clip, Nismo. I need some more like clips anyway. But they're always dirty. Alright, which one would you pick? I would pick this one. For the whole egg. And for the yolky guy, let's see here. Good. Pretty good. We can use this for our egg wash. Or we can just drink it like Rocky Balboa. And we'll get a mixer over here. Now that our butter has cooled down a bit. Wants me to add my sugars, so we're gonna get some brown sugar. Another thing that's unique about this recipe is it uses a bunch of dark brown sugar. So the ratio for this is like mostly dark brown sugar, whereas usually when you make like a chocolate chip cookie from stock recipes from like different sources, it's usually like mostly white sugar with a little bit of brown. This one's like more rich because of more brown sugar, more molasses. It has this like really great flavor that I love. And whoever, I think it was Bon App Tasty or Bon Appetit, one of those, I think it was Tasty, did this one. And they did like a shootout where they did all different ratios of sugars and cake flour, AP and bread flour. I think they did cake flour too. The butters, changing the amount of egg, which is why they ended up with a yolk. Some people use a 1 egg with 2 egg yolks. Some people just use 2 eggs whole for a similar size recipe. And we're just gonna add this sugar. Again, that's a cup of dark brown sugar and a little bit of the flour that we measured earlier. And waste not, want not. Put a little bit of extra sugar in there, I guess. And then I think it's a 1/2 cup of white sugar. Yeah. Which I probably barely have, because I'm like running out of sugar here. Sorry guys. I actually have exactly like 1/2 cup of sugar, which is pretty silly. But there we go. That was the exact amount of sugar, which we use some in our brine. We use some for all kinds of different things. Usually you cream your butter and your sugar, They want vanilla in there too. We already added the espresso to the dry instead of the wet. I'm happy with it being in the dry instead of the wet. So let's try to grab vanilla and not liquid smoke. Liquid smoke was in the cabinet, vanilla was out on the counter. And they want probably like a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Where, oh where has my little dog gone? Where are my measuring cups? I need my measuring spoons. Did they become a hostage of our brine? They didn't escape the brine. That's okay. I have more teaspoons. It's all about that time. And then we'll get our whisk, because I like to cream butter and sugar with a whisk. And we're just going to turn off the mic for this. If anybody has any questions, please ask them while we're doing this. Are you eepy? Is that what you're trying to say? I felt that. I didn't want to get up this morning. That's so yummy. I almost turned off the stream. When I went to turn the mic back off, on, I wish you could smell this. It's just like a rich toffee smell. I usually like to get this to like a lighter brown color, but I don't know if it will. Partly because we already added the vanilla and it like adds a coloring to it. So let me just do a little bit more time. I usually do about 2 minutes to cream, butter, and sugar. And if for some reason you had to stop making this recipe, and you know, this was completely cooled, you can see it's a little more uniform now that it's been whipped up some more. If you did have to stop and your butter solidified again, you just want it to get to room temperature again before you cream it, so you can use it like your stick butter, your softened stick butter. So we're gonna put that aside, and I think I have my I have a dough hook at least. Hilda quiet. I don't say it lightly. I'm kind of fed up with her today. She's such a sweet girl, and she was such a cutie this morning. But oh, all right. We're gonna add our egg and our egg yolk. This will cool everything down and start to bring everything back together. Try not to make too many little pieces. I'm just going to add them all at once. And you can see that butter and everything is really cooled from that softened egg. But I don't want to whip it to give it more volume. I just want to make sure that things are incorporated so we can start adding the dry ingredients. So this is our dry ingredients again. This is flour, baking soda, a little salt, and some espresso powder. We're going to add about a third of that mixture in here. And try not to put it all on the spatula here. And just gently... That's not too loud, is it? If it is, I'll turn it on.